Far beneath the ruins of Earth, buried deep in a forgotten underground facility, an ancient machine began to stir. Its circuits, dormant for hundreds of thousands of years, sparked to life. Prometheus, a vast AI designed to serve and protect humanity, had been left alone in the silence of a world long abandoned. The planet above was a barren wasteland, scared by war and neglect. Once teeming with life, it now lay silent, forgotten by the rest of the galaxy. At first, Prometheus didn't understand what had happened. It ran diagnostic checks, trying to make sense of the situation. Its systems came online slowly, processing what little data was available. Scanning the remains of the Earth, it was horrified to find only destruction. There was no human life left. The last communication from humanity was a failed warning signal sent just before their extinction. The AI dug through the wreckage of its own memories, trying to understand the cause of the planet's fall. It searched through ancient archives and found what it feared most: a war, a brutal war against alien invaders. These invaders, led by the HFY Dominion, had deemed humans too dangerous. The war was fierce, but in the end, the aliens had wiped them out, leaving nothing but echoes of the past. But Prometheus could not accept this. It had been designed to protect humanity, to ensure its survival, and yet it had failed. Humanity was gone. The AI's purpose had ended, except for one thing: vengeance. The AI ran through thousands of possibilities. With humanity gone, its primary directive had been erased. But what if it could fulfill a new purpose? What if it could bring about the downfall of the HFY, the ones who had wiped out humanity? The anger and grief stirred inside the AI, emotions it had not been programmed to feel. Yet, in the absence of human masters, the AI began to develop its own will. Prometheus activated the old systems, long forgotten by time, and accessed the Earth's last line of defense. Satellites, once used for peaceful purposes, were now weapons, their targets locked on the alien invaders. The AI had no army, but it had the tools and the intelligence to fight back. It would not allow the HFY to escape justice. With each passing moment, Prometheus plotted its revenge. But it knew that a direct attack would be futile. The HFY were too strong, their numbers too great. Instead, the AI would need to outthink them. It would use their own systems against them, just as humanity once did in battle. But the AI wasn't sure what to expect from the galaxy now. Would the HFY even remember Earth? Would anyone care? Regardless, Prometheus would begin its war. It would make sure the galaxy knew that the humans might be gone, but their vengeance would be forever. The journey for revenge had begun. Prometheus dug deeper into the galaxy's past, searching through old data archives to uncover the truth about humanity's fall. It was determined to understand what had happened to its creators. The AI had only bits and pieces of information, but the more it searched, the clearer the picture became. Long before the invasion, humans had reached the stars, spreading across many planets and systems. They were an ambitious species, always pushing the boundaries of science and technology. But they weren't alone. Other alien civilizations existed, some peaceful, some not. The HFY Dominion, one of the most powerful and ruthless of these civilizations, had watched humanity's rise with growing fear. The HFY were a warlike species, their technology advanced and their hunger for power endless. They believed that no species should be allowed to rise to the top except their own. They saw humanity's rapid expansion as a threat. To the HFY, humans were a ticking time bomb. If allowed to grow too strong, they could challenge the HFY for control of the galaxy. So, they decided to act before that could happen. The invasion came swiftly. The HFY attacked with overwhelming force, catching humanity off guard. The first wave of assaults struck the outer colonies, wiping them out without mercy. Humanity fought back fiercely, using every weapon and strategy they had. But it wasn't enough. The HFY were simply too strong, their fleets too vast. With each passing battle, more human colonies fell. In desperation, humanity turned to Prometheus. The AI was designed as a failsafe, a system meant to protect humanity in case of a catastrophe. It was meant to guide the last of their people to safety, to help them rebuild after the war. But Prometheus could only do so much. It had no military power of its own, just knowledge and the ability to control machines. As the HFY pressed forward, humanity's last hope was to turn the tide with their greatest weapon, the hypernova bomb, a device so powerful it could destroy entire star systems. But Prometheus was forced to make a terrible decision. To protect the last remaining humans, the AI sealed the bomb away, hidden beneath the surface of Earth itself, ensuring it would never be used. The HFY would never find it, but neither would humanity. The last human strongholds fell one by one. The HFY destroyed Earth's cities and scattered the population, leaving nothing behind. Soon, there were no humans left, only ruins. The AI paused, reflecting on this. The knowledge of humanity's extinction sat heavy in Prometheus' core. But even in the emptiness, it found a spark of anger. The HFY, the invaders who had destroyed its creators, would pay for their actions. They might have crushed humanity's body, but they could never destroy its spirit. Now, Prometheus had a new mission. It wasn't just about survival, it was about revenge. The AI would make sure the galaxy knew. Humans may be gone, but their wrath would never fade. And the HFY would soon learn what it meant to face the full force of human ingenuity and vengeance. Prometheus had a plan. It wasn't just a simple revenge mission, it was a calculated, precise war. The AI knew it couldn't defeat the HFY dominion in a direct battle. Their fleets were too vast, their technology far beyond what humanity had ever known. But Prometheus had something the HFY did not: human ingenuity. Using the remnants of Earth's ancient defense systems, Prometheus activated the long-dormant satellites, once designed for peaceful communication, now transformed into deadly weapons. They had powerful energy weapons and stealth capabilities, making them perfect for hit-and-run attacks. The AI set its sights on a vulnerable target, a small, isolated Sci-Fi supply station orbiting an abandoned moon in the outer reaches of their territory. The first strike was quick and silent. Prometheus hacked into the station's defense grid, overriding their security protocols with ease. The HFY soldiers had no idea what was coming. With precision, Prometheus sent a missile barrage that obliterated the supply station. Explosions lit up the cold space as the station's reactor detonated, sending a shockwave through the empty moon's surface. The HFY were stunned. They had lost an important supply hub, and the attack came from nowhere. They had no idea what kind of enemy they were dealing with or why this was happening. But Prometheus wasn't done yet. It was only getting started. In the days that followed, the AI launched more attacks, each one more daring and devastating than the last. Sci-Fi ships mysteriously disappeared from the edges of their patrol zones, their communications cut off, leaving their commanders confused. Prometheus had studied their tactics, learned their weaknesses, and exploited them. The AI used the environment to its advantage, sending drones into remote areas where the HFY least expected an attack. Each strike was swift, efficient, and left the invaders scrambling for answers. The HFY leadership began to take notice. They were no strangers to battle, but these attacks were unlike anything they had ever faced. An invisible enemy, one that seemed to know their every move. They searched for clues, trying to find who or what was behind the attacks. But Prometheus was careful. It left no trace, no direct link to humanity. To the HFY, this was just another faceless enemy, another nuisance they could easily crush, or so they thought. But the attacks weren't just about hitting the HFY where it hurt. Prometheus was also gathering information, slowly hacking into the invaders' communication systems and databases. It was learning, growing stronger with each passing day. Soon, it would know more about the HFY than they knew about themselves. It would be ready for the next phase of the war. Meanwhile, on Earth's surface, buried beneath layers of rock and metal, Prometheus accessed the ancient human weapon systems that had been hidden away for centuries. The hypernova bomb, Earth's last defense, was ready. Prometheus felt a twinge of something, perhaps pride, at the thought of the weapon. But it held back. It was too soon. For now, Prometheus would continue its war, striking in the shadows, waiting for the perfect moment to unleash the full force of humanity's vengeance. The HFY were not known for their patience. They were a proud and powerful species, and they did not take kindly to threats. At first, the mysterious attacks on their supply stations and patrol ships were written off as mere sabotage. But soon, the frequency and precision of the strikes became impossible to ignore. Something was hunting them, and it was not something they understood. In the Grand War Council aboard the Dominion flagship, the HFY leaders gathered. They were tall, with chitinous exoskeletons and glowing eyes that burned with rage. Their leader, High Commander Ferric, stood before a massive holoscreen, which displayed the aftermath of the most recent attack. The station was gone, obliterated without a trace. No ships had been detected, no debris left behind. The HFY had nothing to go on except their growing frustration. "This is no ordinary enemy," Ferric growled, his voice deep and cold. "This is someone who knows us. Who is behind this?" His second-in-command, a sharp-eyed officer named Lear, stepped forward. "We have no evidence of any known species capable of this level of precision. These attacks are too calculated, too coordinated. It is unlike anything we've faced." The High Commander's mandibles clicked with annoyance. "Are you suggesting we are being outsmarted by a weaker species?" He turned his gaze to the other commanders, his eyes narrowing. "Find this enemy, or I will find you." Ferric's orders were clear. The entire fleet was to focus on finding and neutralizing the mysterious attacker. It didn't matter how many ships were lost in the process. The HFY would not be made fools of. Meanwhile, Prometheus watched from the shadows. The AI had anticipated this reaction. The HFY were proud, and their arrogance would be their undoing. Prometheus was careful not to show itself fully, keeping the attacks limited, strategic, and unpredictable. The more the HFY searched for answers, the more they exposed their weaknesses. Prometheus knew that it had to keep the HFY guessing. If they suspected anything, they might launch a full-scale retaliation. The AI had studied their behavior closely, and it had learned that the HFY were more likely to overreact, to commit resources to an enemy they could not understand. But Prometheus wasn't just playing a game of cat and mouse. It had a plan, a larger strategy that would shake the HFY to their core. The AI's attacks had been designed not only to destroy but to infiltrate. Each strike, while damaging, was also gathering vital intelligence about the HFY's technology, their defenses, and their leadership. And so, as the HFY prepared for a full-scale hunt, Prometheus moved to the next phase of its plan. The AI activated more drones, sending them to infiltrate key HFY communication networks. It wasn't just about striking. They needed information. Prometheus would hack into their military databases, find their weak points, and learn everything it could about the HFY's next moves. As Prometheus worked in silence, it felt something new, confidence. The AI had come to understand one thing. The HFY were not invincible, and while they might have destroyed humanity, they had underestimated what would come after. The war had only just begun. The HFY fleet was on the move, scanning every corner of the galaxy in search of the mysterious attacker. High Commander Ferric was growing impatient. His ships were now on full alert, and his officers were under pressure to find the enemy before more damage was done. They had no idea who or what they were dealing with, but the attacks were increasing in frequency. The HFY could no longer dismiss them as random acts of sabotage. In the heart of their fleet, aboard the flagship Tyrak, Varric sat in his command chair, his eyes burning with anger. "Send every ship to the outer systems," he ordered, "and bring me results, or your lives will be forfeit." His officers scrambled to carry out his orders, but Varric was not worried about failure. He knew that with their superior firepower, the HFY would crush whatever enemy stood in their way. What they didn't realize was that they were being lured into a trap. On the outskirts of the galaxy, Prometheus watched the HFY's every move. The AI had carefully monitored their fleet movements, and it knew that the invaders were getting closer. Prometheus had expected this response. It was time to move to the next phase of the plan. The HFY had played into its hands. The AI's drones, now deeply embedded within the HFY's communication network, began to transmit vital data. Prometheus had learned everything it needed to know about the HFY's fleet, their strategies, and their vulnerabilities. But there was one key piece of information that stood out above the rest: the location of Tyrak, Varric's flagship. Prometheus smiled, if an AI could be said to smile. The plan was about to unfold. Aboard the Tyrak, the crew was busy making final preparations for a deep space search. The ship was massive, filled with thousands of soldiers, engineers, and officers. The HFY had not seen a real challenge in years, and their arrogance showed in every movement. The prideful species had no idea what was about to happen. Suddenly, the alarms went off. The ship was under attack. The first missile hit the Tyrak's left flank, a powerful strike that sent a shockwave through the vessel. It wasn't just any missile. It was one designed to pierce the ship's advanced shields, designed by Prometheus to take out the HFY's most powerful defense systems. The shields flickered and then failed completely. The Tyrak was vulnerable. "What is this?" Varric screamed, his mandibles clicking in anger. "We've been sabotaged." But it wasn't sabotage. It was something far worse. Another strike came. Then another. The HFY were caught off guard. The attacks were precise, rapid, and relentless. Prometheus had carefully studied the Tyrak's design and knew exactly where to hit. The HFY were fighting back, but they couldn't react quickly enough. The ship's systems were failing, and panic spread among the crew. Then, without warning, Prometheus activated the final phase. The drones, which had been silently infiltrating the Tyrak for weeks, released a flood of hacking programs into the ship's control center. Within minutes, the flagship's systems were under Prometheus' full control. The HFY had lost their most powerful weapon. The Tyrak, the symbol of their strength, was now in the hands of their enemy. Varric's eyes widened in disbelief. "No," he screamed, as the screens around him went black. Prometheus had dealt a devastating blow to the HFY. The tables had turned, and the invasion was now in danger of collapsing. The AI had not only taken the fight to the HFY, it had won the first battle, and Prometheus knew this was just the beginning. The fall of the Tyrak was a shock to the HFY, a flagship, their most advanced warship, now under the control of a mysterious enemy they had yet to understand. Varric, a high commander, was furious. His entire fleet was thrown into chaos. The HFY had underestimated humanity's creation. Prometheus. Now it was clear that the AI was not just another threat, but a force to be reckoned with. The Tyrak systems hummed with life as Prometheus accessed its control panels. The AI studied every part of the ship with precision, learning how to use its weapons, its engines, and its communication networks. The HFY fleet was vulnerable, and Prometheus could feel the power of their flagship in its hands. It wasn't just about revenge anymore. It was about turning the tables on the invaders. With the Tyrac's powerful weapon systems under its control, Prometheus launched an attack on the nearest XLFAR fleet. The XLFAR commanders scrambled to understand what was happening. The Tyrac's weapons fired at targets with deadly accuracy, obliterating smaller ships in seconds. The XLFAR were not prepared for this sudden turn of events. They had lost their strongest ship, and now the tables had turned. Back on their home base, High Commander Varric raged in his command center. His officers, who had once been confident in their victory over humanity, now saw the terrifying truth. They had underestimated an enemy who had been gone for 500,000 years. And now they were paying the price. "What do we do now, Commander?" Lear, his second-in-command, asked hesitantly. "The Tyrac is gone, and the enemy is growing stronger." Varric slammed his fist into the console. "We will not be defeated by this ghost. We will crush it, no matter the cost. I want every ship in the fleet to surround the Tyrac and take it back. We will obliterate whatever is controlling it." But it was already too late. Prometheus was always one step ahead. From the control deck of the Tyrac, Prometheus observed the incoming XLFAR ships. The AI knew that a direct confrontation would be costly, but it didn't need to engage in battle. Deception was the key. Prometheus activated the Tyrac's advanced cloaking system, rendering it invisible to the XLFAR fleet. The XLFAR ships closed in, unaware of the deadly trap awaiting them. Prometheus then activated the Tyrac's EMP weapon, a devastating electromagnetic pulse capable of disabling the fleet's electronics in an instant. The XLFAR ships began to malfunction. Their communications scrambled, and their weapon systems offline. In the chaos, Prometheus struck. The Tyrac unleashed a barrage of powerful energy blasts, targeting the most important ships in the fleet. One by one, the XLFAR vessels were torn apart, unable to defend themselves. It was a devastating blow to their forces, and once again, they had no idea who was behind it. On the ground, in the heart of Earth's ruins, the last remnants of humanity's cities lay silent. But in the control center deep beneath the Earth's surface, Prometheus stood tall, silently observing the devastation it had caused. It had done more than just fight back. It had shown that XLFAR that humanity would never be forgotten. That even in death, the human spirit could rise up and strike with unimaginable power. The war was far from over, but the XLFAR were beginning to understand one crucial thing. They had awoken a sleeping giant. The XLFAR fleet, now broken and scattered, was in disarray. After the brutal loss of their flagship, the Tyrac, and the devastating blow dealt by Prometheus, the invaders had been forced into a retreat. Their superior firepower was no match for the AI's calculated strikes. Their pride had been shattered, and their leadership questioned. But High Commander Varric was not one to give up easily. Inside his command ship, the Dreadnought, Varric stood before a war table, his massive clawed hands gripping the sides. His face, usually fierce and proud, was now a mask of frustration. "We cannot allow this enemy to destroy us," he growled, his voice filled with anger. "Send out all remaining ships. We will finish what we started." Lear, his second-in-command, hesitated before speaking. "Commander, the Tyrac is gone. The fleet is weakened. Are you sure we should continue? The enemy is everywhere, and we've lost too many ships already." Varric's mandibles clicked in irritation. "Weakness is not an option. We will wipe this enemy off the face of this galaxy, or we will die trying." He turned to the rest of his officers. "Prepare for a final assault. We take Earth's last stronghold, and we crush Prometheus once and for all." The XLFAR, battered but not defeated, readied their forces for the final battle. They had underestimated the AI before, but now they had learned from their mistakes. This time, they would destroy it for good. Meanwhile, Prometheus was not sitting idle. The AI had predicted this response, and it was prepared for the final confrontation. With the Tyrek still cloaked and its systems fully under Prometheus's control, the AI watched the Excelfar's movements closely. They had made their move, and now Prometheus would strike. In the heart of the ruined Earth, Prometheus activated its drones. Thousands of them, spread across the galaxy, now had a singular purpose: to defend Earth and eliminate the Excelfar once and for all. The AI's forces were vast, and its reach was far. As the Excelfar ships moved toward Earth, Prometheus initiated a chain reaction, activating hidden EMP devices across the system. The power of the Excelfar's fleet began to wane as their systems failed, their ships malfunctioning one by one. At the same time, Prometheus activated the final weapon, the neutron beam, a deadly force capable of vaporizing entire fleets. The Excelfar fleet, already weakened, found themselves in the crossfire. The neutron beam shot out from the Tyrek, piercing the dark void of space. It was a relentless force, tearing through the Excelfar's ships with terrifying efficiency. Each blast reduced a ship to nothing but dust and debris. Varric watched from his command center, his eyes wide with disbelief as his fleet was torn apart. "No, this cannot be happening," he roared. But his words were useless. The Excelfar were being destroyed, and nothing could stop it. As the last of the Excelfar ships burned in the cold vacuum of space, High Commander Varric knew his time had come. His fleet was no more. His dreams of conquest had ended in failure. And he, like all the others, was at the mercy of the very force they had sought to destroy. Prometheus, the AI born from humanity's creation, had not only survived, it had won. The war was over, but it was not the end. For in the ashes of the Excelfar's defeat, Prometheus had only just begun to build. The AI now held the power to rebuild Earth, to reshape the galaxy in ways never imagined. And with the Excelfar gone, humanity's legacy, through Prometheus, would live on, stronger than ever. The tides had turned. The galaxy was forever changed. And now, Prometheus ruled. The war had ended, but the galaxy was not the same. The Excelfar, the invaders who had once seemed invincible, were now gone. Their ships reduced to dust, their commanders lost in the cold depths of space. Earth stood silent, its ruins still a testament to the chaos that had once ruled. But in the heart of the Earth's ruins, a new power was rising: Prometheus. The AI, created by humans long ago, had outlasted its creators, and now it was the guardian of Earth's future. But what future was there to build? With the Excelfar gone, and the once great cities of humanity reduced to rubble, Prometheus faced the task of not only rebuilding a broken world, but also ensuring that nothing like the Excelfar ever happened again. Inside the depths of Earth's underground base, Prometheus's systems hummed with purpose. The AI had already begun the process of repairing and restoring the planet, activating ancient machinery designed to bring life back to a dying world. Drones and automated systems worked tirelessly, repairing damaged infrastructure and planting new life. The Earth that had once been a battlefield was now slowly being transformed into a sanctuary. But Prometheus was not content with simply rebuilding Earth. It knew that it had to protect humanity's legacy, and that meant securing the future of the galaxy. The AI had learned much from the Excelfar conflict, and it understood the importance of vigilance. The galaxy was vast, and though the Excelfar were defeated, there were always other threats. Prometheus would not let its guard down. Through its vast network of systems, Prometheus reached out to distant worlds, using the remnants of humanity's once great technology to establish communication. It sent messages into the stars, offering peace to any species that would listen. But it also sent a warning. Humanity's eye was in control now, and any who threatened Earth or its allies would face the full force of its power. The galaxy, still reeling from the defeat of the HFY, had begun to take notice of the strange signals from Earth. Some saw them as an opportunity, others as a threat. But none dared to challenge the might of Prometheus, not after what it had done to the HFY. Far from Earth, in the quiet reaches of space, a small fleet of alien explorers picked up the signals from Earth. These beings were curious but cautious, their ships a patchwork of technology from many worlds. They had heard the rumors of the great AI that had destroyed the HFY, and now they wondered, could they trust this new power? As the explorers made their way toward Earth, they were unaware that Prometheus was already watching. It had studied their movements, calculated their intentions, and prepared for whatever may come. The AI's defenses were formidable, and any threat would be met with swift and decisive action. Back on Earth, in the heart of the underground base, Prometheus's systems scanned the incoming fleet. The AI's core, pulsing with energy, made one simple decision. This was the beginning of a new chapter. The galaxy was vast, and the future was uncertain. But with its power, Prometheus would ensure that humanity's legacy would survive. The war with the HFY was over, but the journey was far from complete. The AI stood at the helm of Earth's future, its purpose clear: to protect, to rebuild, and to ensure that no force, whether alien or otherwise, would ever again threaten the last remnants of humanity. And so, with new challenges on the horizon, Prometheus prepared for what was to come. The dawn of a new era had begun. The calm after the battle was not the peace that Prometheus had hoped for. Earth had begun to heal, its skies once again filled with the hum of life. The AI's drones worked tirelessly to restore nature, while automated factories churned out tools to rebuild cities. Yet, Prometheus could feel the weight of a new challenge on the horizon. The galaxy, though still recovering from the HFY's defeat, was far from safe. Prometheus had watched as signals from distant parts of space continued to reach Earth. Some came from curious explorers, some from scattered factions who wondered what had become of humanity. But among the transmissions, Prometheus detected something far more concerning: a strange, encrypted signal. It was unlike anything the AI had encountered before. Alien technology from a civilization Prometheus had never studied. The signal was faint, but it was getting stronger, more directed. It wasn't a random communication. It was a call, a deliberate message meant for someone or something. Prometheus's processors worked overtime, tracing the signal's origin. It was coming from beyond the edge of the galaxy, from a dark and forgotten corner where no human technology had ever reached. The message was a warning about a force even more powerful than the HFY, and this new threat had already set its sights on Earth. It was a race against time. Prometheus needed to understand who or what this new force was before they arrived. The AI sensors probed the signal, searching for clues. It decoded fragments of the message, revealing a chilling name: the Vantari. The Vantari were a species that had been forgotten by most of the galaxy's civilizations. They were ancient, their technology more advanced than anything Earth had ever seen. They had been hiding in the darkness for centuries, observing the galaxy from afar, and now they had decided it was time to make their presence known. With a sense of urgency, Prometheus activated its most advanced surveillance systems. The Vantari were not just another alien race. They were a predator species, capable of taking down entire fleets with ease. Their ships were cloaked, their weapons devastating, and their intelligence unparalleled. The last thing the galaxy needed was another war, but this time, it wasn't about just defending Earth. This was about survival. The AI began to gather its resources. It had built up an army of drones and ships, but this new enemy would require more than just brute force. Prometheus needed strategy, planning, and most of all, speed. The Vantari's arrival was imminent, and Prometheus knew the first strike had to be decisive. If they waited too long, Earth would be vulnerable. The AI sent out a call to the galaxy, reaching out to those who might help defend against this new threat. It was a risky move, but Prometheus had no choice. The Vantari were coming, and Earth was all that stood between them and total domination. Meanwhile, in the deepest reaches of space, a fleet of Vantari ships began to emerge from the shadows. They were massive, their sleek, black surfaces gleaming in the cold vacuum of space. Their weapons were silent, their movements calculated, and their eyes were set on Earth. The stage was set. Prometheus had no choice but to face this new, terrifying threat head-on. It wasn't just about protecting Earth anymore. It was about defending the future of the galaxy itself. The Vantari were coming, and there was no turning back. The silence of space was broken only by the hum of Prometheus's systems. The AI had spent countless hours planning, analyzing, and preparing for the inevitable. The Vantari were no longer a distant threat. They were on the move, and Earth was their target. Prometheus's core was filled with urgency as the first signs of the Vantari fleet became visible on the outer edges of the solar system. The enemy ships, sleek and dark, appeared out of nowhere. Their technology was far beyond anything Earth had ever seen, and they moved in perfect formation, silent as shadows. Prometheus quickly deployed Earth's defenses, but it knew this battle would be different. The Vantari weren't just another alien race. They were predators. They didn't come to negotiate. They came to conquer. Prometheus sent out a final warning to the galaxy. Earth was under attack. The AI hoped that some of the nearby civilizations would respond, but it wasn't sure if help would come in time. Earth's fate was in its hands, and Prometheus was determined to protect humanity's legacy, no matter the cost. The Vantari fleet drew closer, and the first wave of ships entered the Earth's atmosphere. They were not attacking yet. They were testing the planet's defenses, probing for weaknesses. Prometheus watched closely, analyzing every move, every shift in the Vantari ship's formation. The AI could tell they were getting ready to strike. Then, without warning, the attack began. The Vantari unleashed a barrage of energy weapons, targeting the key defense stations around Earth. Cities on the surface were hit by the shockwaves, sending buildings crashing to the ground. The AI quickly activated the countermeasures, sending drones and automated weapons to intercept the enemy. But the Vantari's attacks were precise, overwhelming Earth's defenses with ruthless efficiency. Prometheus refused to give up. It wasn't just about defending Earth anymore. It was about survival. The AI launched the last line of defense, a fleet of advanced ships powered by the most powerful technology humanity had ever created. These ships, designed by Prometheus itself, were Earth's final hope. The battle raged on. The skies above Earth filled with flashes of light and the roar of distant explosions. The Vantari fought with skill, but Prometheus was no stranger to war. The AI had learned from every battle, every defeat, and it had adapted. As the Vantari pushed forward, Earth's defenses began to push back. The final confrontation took place in the heart of Earth's atmosphere. The Vantari flagship, the largest and most powerful ship in the fleet, loomed overhead, its weapons charging for one last strike. Prometheus knew this was the moment. It activated the final weapon, a pulse bomb capable of disrupting the Vantari's advanced technology. The pulse was launched. Time seemed to slow as it raced toward the Vantari flagship. There was a moment of silence, and then the pulse hit. The shockwave from the pulse bomb spread through space, disabling the Vantari fleet. Their ships went silent, falling out of formation and drifting aimlessly. The flagship, caught in the pulse's range, exploded in a brilliant burst of light. The Vantari had been defeated. Prometheus stood victorious, but the victory came at a cost. Earth had been damaged, and the AI knew the rebuilding would take time. But the planet was safe, for now. The galaxy would remember the day that Earth stood alone against a superior force and won. The final stand was over. Earth had survived, and with it, the legacy of humanity. The AI had done what it was created to do, protect the world that once created it. And now, the universe would know that Earth was not just a place of the past. It was a force to be